good evening, everybody. Welcome to the meeting of the Recreation and Communities Committee on 22nd of February 2022 at 7:32. Right. Okay, right. Apologies for absence. We have apologies from the Mayor, Councillor Sarah Miller, from Councillor John Hooper and Councillor Glenn Lambert, and also I think from Councillor Tom Buckley. Yes, we thought we might be in time. Right, declarations of interest. None. Right. Okay, public participation. Well, being as there isn't any, I'd just like to say a big thank you to our Parks Department for their hard work they did on Friday in the storm. Fantastic, you know, went over and above. And also to Dave for his hard work, and to the fire brigade on all their help that they gave to everyone in the chat.
There was much outpouring of love on Facebook.
Yes. Yeah, sorry, can I just, otherwise the lads will ridicule me. I was actually on, so I can't take any of that. I just wanted to let the lads did a great job.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, and to the fire brigade. Right, okay, minutes. You all got them? Yeah. Okay, something done. Okay. Right, okay. Putting Green minutes held on 28th of January. Yeah, no, and the ones on the 14th of February. Okay. Progress. Okay. Fairmount Chapel. That pipeline. Donation of a Slovenian hayrack. The hayrack has now been put up and recycling can now be removed from progress, and it looks lovely, by the way. So, yeah. Okay, riverbank repairs, marsh meadow steps into the river. Lido working group.
What kind of progress are you making there? Have you found a
land owner that might want to do it, does want to do it?
Okay. Right, okay. Welcome wall. Now, this isn't really going anywhere, is it? It's ongoing, but nothing's really. So I feel that because we've got lots of other projects in the pipeline that we have, and I just feel that we should remove it from progress. So if anybody would like to
I'll second that, and I think that if we come back to this in the future, because there's been ideas like Dave talked about having it painted by an artist, and Helen was talking about having it as a link to the town centre and things like that. I think there needs to be like a set remit, but I also agree that if it does come back, it needs to be after we've figured out what approach we're doing, after the putting green's been built. It would be nice to see something there, but I agree with you. It's literally sat on progress report for so long. We put like a little bit of call out for local artists. Nobody's really come forward. I know that there's a few local artists doing a couple of other projects in town. Maybe that's why. So maybe it's something that can come up in the summer.
Okay.
I think it should be kept on there. I keep pushing it every time it comes up. It shouldn't be kept on these on the agenda in that aspect of it, because it's been on there for so long. But the thing is, if someone can give me some proof that someone's looked into something, because if no one's looked into any aspect other than me, then it should stay on it, because I don't think it's been given its right pathway to actually achieve anything. Unless someone can give me some proof today that someone's looked into it and it's not going anywhere, then I would say take it off.
What do you mean looked into it in what way? It's been on like it started off as a report in 2018.
It started off as a report. I think it was Sam Evans that actually brought this to table in the first place. To the point that the wall was rendered on that wall, so that the project started, the wall was rendered because it was brickwork. the bottom wall was rendered for this painting and this artwork to be done. And since then, nothing else has been done. I've got ideas forward. I don't think anybody, it's not down to me to contact this person or contact people to do it.
It can't be someone you specifically want, Dave.
It's-
Because I
I'm
think
not-
I know who the person is, but you cannot have them. You have to
I haven't
have
finished,
three
I haven't
people.
finished.
Because you
Um,
want someone, it doesn't mean you're
I
going
don't,
to get
it's
it.
not the question of whether I want someone. I never said that I want someone. It's not down to me to pick anybody. That was what I was saying. It's not down to me to do that. I can suggest someone or suggest several people, and then it's down to the committee to actually go out to tender and put that thing forward. But I don't think anything other than the wall being rendered, any other progress or anybody's actually gone out to do anything or get anybody to come forward. So this thing isn't going to go anywhere until that happens.
Lawrence.
We clearly do collectively want something done there at some point. So why don't we do the agenda item, the original proposal back out, see what was done on it, discuss it again. And if actually after seeing what the original proposal was, seeing what was going to be done, if we're still actually like, you know what, let's just shelf it, and that can be one of the recommendations that we go forward then. But if actually we're like, no, actually we've got Sutherland and a few other mural artists locally, and we can have concerted, let's actually see if something can be done, then do it. There's no point shaking your head down, you've got to be
No,
objective.
no,
Mr. Chair.
because we
We can go
are,
outside a
we're-
few different artists, actually look at whether it's worth it as a project before we just scrap it.
it's all right nominating one particular person. You cannot have just one particular person.
No, we're well aware of that.
And that's what I feel people want, and it's not fair because you
Well,
cannot,
that's
it
it.
doesn't work like that.
I've never said I wanted any particular
Conflict
person.
of
I'm just
interest.
mentioning one person.
It's a conflict of interest. Yes.
So I don't know what you're talking about with artists, but I'm going with the chair and with Councillor Hinton on this one. I just think it needs to be taken off. We have got rather a lot of work on at the moment. So let's just have a breather. And like Councillor Plant says, when the time is right, we will bring it back to this committee.
Okay, so we put that to the vote then,
So what are we voting on?
to remove it from progress. All those in favour? Those against? Right, okay.
Another waste of council taxpayers' money. Having a wall rendered and then not following it through.
Okay, let's move on to fencing at Freeman's.
Can I speak on that?
Thank you then. Sorry,
Can I speak on that?
at Freeman's,
Yeah, I want to speak on that as well.
okay?
Because it's to do with the one games.
No, we're not on that one yet.
No,
That's
but Freeman's.
That's a different agenda
I
item.
can sum it up on the
No,
games.
Dave, we're talking about Freeman's.
Yeah, I know. And I'm also going to talk about that, so I can either bring it in onto the,
Well, then wait till we come to that agenda item, please. Okay, have you got anything to say about Freeman's? Or not?
well, I can't see why there's a spending of money on a fence
It's to make it safe for the road.
to make it safe on the road. How many incidences have been on that road since that's been up?
Okay,
How many incidents has been on that road since? We're talking about spending council taxpayers' money. How many incidents has there been on that road? Because the reason of putting this fence in is to safeguard the people from bulls and animals running out into the highway. How many incidents? has
The
been on
decision's already been taken.
we've already
We've
voted.
already voted on it at the last one.
that? Yeah, no,
This is just a progress report.
Okay,
Well, I'm just
right, right.
wondering-
Yeah, okay, Dave, please be quiet. Right. Finances. Then. Agenda item 7. Oh, sorry, yeah.
I was going to say, Dean knocked it out of the ballpark. Better on, or there's literally not a single front that they weren't better on. And I think it's been a great, I know that it's happening in lots of areas, but to whoever did the review, I think great, less pickups, utilise the great
Oh, what
capacity of the compactor.
Pretty much Sheridan, yeah.
Yeah.
Sheridan's done a great job on this.
No, like really great idea. Some really decent savings to be had for something that seemed, the three-phase supply would be much more expensive. But apart from that, I think it's great.
Michelle?
Yeah, I agree. I'm really, really pleased to see that the waste disposal company seems to be moving forward in such a positive way. I mean, they seem to be making much more progress than, for instance, supermarkets, which can't seem to get hold of the circular economy. So yeah, I'm really, really pleased to see this, and I fully support this.
Right, okay, are we going to take it to a vote?
Yeah, company D.
Company D,
Regulation.
yeah. I second.
All those in favour? All those against? All those abstaining? Right, okay, now, here we are. Maidens Recreation Ground, to receive a motion from councillor Will Hamilton and David Eggleton as follows, that the following recent hedge lane, see 50 metres of recently removed chain link fencing, passing sympathetic cars and existing posts. Right. Carl, would you like to speak? Or Dave?
Sorry, who is David?
Well, it's Dave and councillor Hamilton.
Councillor Hamilton's not here, so I'm not speaking on behalf of him. I'm speaking. I'm speaking for myself and living up there for many years. First and foremost, I'd like to thank Park Services because I'm all up for cutting and laying of hedges. Because since the 70s, it's been on a decline where they used to cut and lay hedges, and then from the 70s they took hedgerows out and then brought tractors in to cut hedges, which is not the right way of doing things. Obviously, it saves money, but cutting and laying of hedges is much more beneficial to the well-being of the planet and the wildlife within the area. Within 2 to 3 years, that hedge will be thriving and hopefully bring the wildlife back what used to be there when I was a kid. So big thank you for Park Services in doing that anyway. And but the fence posts, obviously, when you're taking out that as I was growing up, that fence has been on there. It's a boundary fence. So now by actually taking hedge down, you've exposed, well, this posts have all been exposed. There is a chain link fence on the other side. There was a chain link fence partly rusted away, which was obviously removed for safety. But I'd like to see a chain link fence go back up at the same height as the hedgerow, because there is small gaps in and around the trees, and for animals to get, well, dogs to get out onto the highway. Same reason you're putting a fence up down on and in the other park to stop for animals to get out onto the highway. There was a gate put up there a few years ago. My thoughts on the reason the gate was put there, but apparently probably wasn't. But it was. I remember some people saying that that was the only open spot up there that animals could get through. There was a gate put up there, which has made the park a lot safer. There is gaps in the edge up there, and it's going to take, according to my research, it's going to take 2 to 3 years before it thickens up and be really dense, and then bring the wildlife back into it. In the meantime, there is fence posts up there. Look a bit unsightly now, the hedge has been cut and laid. I'd like to see a fence go back up, which was part of the boundary line, and it's always been a fence there. It's not something new that we're adding. It's a fence that was there before. So all you're doing is replacing it like for like, rather than leaving concrete posts just there. Like I said, the hedgerow is going to take 2 to 3 years to get back. This will go safe and secure to anybody which is playing activities up on Maidens Recreation Ground, and to stop any animals getting out onto the highway.
Okay, right, fine. Carl, would you like to speak to this?
Thanks for that, Dave. So we've laid the hedge. We had to take down the existing chain link fence because it was old, it's over 50 years and it was failing. And it was also grown into the hedgerow, so it was nigh on impossible to try and lay the hedge as well as keep the existing chain link. So we made the decision to take it out. Granted, it isn't the most attractive with the exposed concrete posts that are still there. And yeah, perhaps we could put a chain link fence up there. However, there's going to be quite a lot of cost to that for what possibly could be a short-term aesthetic measure. I'm not aware of the gaps that Dave mentioned, but I will definitely go back and have a look. Last time I checked, there wasn't any glaringly obvious gaps that any animals could get through. But I take that on board and I will go and have a look. We have also any dense parts of the hedge, we have backfilled with new whips, and we've also replanted, sorry, I'll take this. We've replanted some cherry trees that were there and have failed over the years. So we've kind of planted extra in the hedgerows. 2 to 3 years. I mean, yeah, but I'm not sure on timelines. But if you have a look up at Gillet's Field, we did lay Gillet's Field just over a year ago now, and Gillet's Field has come back thriving, and it's doing really well. So that's quite a good example to use as what we're trying to get from Makings Hedge. And we could put the chain link, but what we're looking for is a green natural boundary line rather than metal and concrete and whatnot. But absolutely, I get where Councillor Eggleton's coming from about the aesthetic side, but if we could hold fire, you know, we may not need to spend the money. But at the end of the day, it's what you guys decide that you want to do.
Anyone else want to say anything? I went up there actually and I had a look and I was really rather impressed. And I spoke to Kyle and he said that in a couple of months it should fill out and thicken out. It's like anything, if you cut anything, it will look bare and it does look a bit of a shock, but it will, because spring's coming and it will fill out. And I have seen it, and personally don't think any children could fall out through the hedge, Dave. I really don't think they could. And I don't really think that dogs could fall out through the hedge, you know.
There's only one dog come through the edge.
Well, I really don't think, well, okay.
So
But I don't think children
Get through a
could
hedge,
through
get
the
through any
hedge.
hedge it wants
I
to.
think that's the-
It will, but it won't get through a
exaggeration.
chain link.
Yeah, well, we'll have an answer. But
Get
anyway,
house to
so,
it's called a wall.
right, Toval then.
Yeah, I respect your opinion. You know, you're such a long resident of that area. You know, I agree the facilities need to be completely secure for children and
Well, especially a
for
park.
animals. However, I think with Carl's proposal that he will go back as soon as possible to have a look and to secure any areas. And just to let this kind of, let's just have a look and see how this hedging actually just matures a little bit, give it a little bit more time before we spend the money. That's my proposal. And we'll have a second.
And just one more thing before that's done. The reason there's.
Can I have a second?
Go on.
Second, please.
Yeah, go on. So
I'll second that.
Right, okay, fine. Okay, now,
just wanted to have another. I can send you this video anyway. When you say about thickening up within, when the greenery starts coming, it will be shortly. I've got footage here, and these are experts as well. That actually says it takes 2 to 3 years on that thickening it. And it's going to look an eyesore with just concrete posts. So you suggesting leaving them concrete posts in there?
it will, Dave, it will grow.
It won't grow them
It will
concrete posts.
grow. It's
You've
like
already made
anything
your
that you touch
decision.
it,
You've already
will-
made your decision on what you
Right,
want to do
okay,
anyway.
Kelly.
I felt really caught between, because obviously I massively respect both sides of the experience.
I heard that. Language.
So actually what I was going to say was that this proposal from Michelle
Yeah.
is like a compromise of both, because what it's saying is, okay, this should be sufficient. If it's not, if Carl goes back and there's checks, you know, and it's really, we do need a fence there, then we'll put it in. And we're just asking for that little bit more time. I don't think that came across maybe today, but also I know that, he cares about the, the safety of the children and the animals, which I completely understand. But I also think that the incident with the dog may have happened whilst it was being laid, so it was a lot more open then, and it's already more closed up. The only thing I did want to add is that I don't know if it is now, and I went up there Saturday night, but when you're going up there to check, if you could just check the gaps either side of the gate, because they were getting a bit wide. I think where kids had sort of pushed through. I don't know why, it's so simple, it's not a lockable gate, you just literally pull it like that and it opens.
Yeah.
But I think people have squeezed through both sides so much that the sort of the greenery had gone back a bit, there's a little sort of walkway if you like, so just either side of the gate, there's a bit of a gap there, but I think.
Yeah. I don't think we need to waste money on the.
We'll keep an eye on it. I'm mindful for keeping an eye on it.
Okay then, so all those in favour of Michelle's proposal? Right, that's unanimous. Okay, right, and I do think the parks do a fantastic job at laying the hedge as well.
I'm going to go and have a look.
Right,
We'll find you on the swing.
I might have to go and swim. No.
Wait, Will, while you're there. Free head.
and also I'm going to see this one, see the, which is great. Historic information boards. I think these are great, these information boards.
I'd
Yeah.
Google what pudding stone is.
They look
Sounds like
like
a pudding stone.
You must
No,
not put
yeah. Yeah.
They actually look really lovely in
Oh,
the
why?
area. Right, so shall we vote for the recommendation of 5.1?
Yes.
Okay, all those in favour?
Never thought we'd go to pudding stone.
The amount, can I say something
Yeah,
as well?
yeah.
The work that goes into these, particularly by Viv and Dave, and the artwork that goes into it, and it's
Stones
just
on the board.
the board. The stones are pretty not massively exciting, but this kind of makes them a little bit more exciting. And I just love these boards so much, and I hope that even after the money runs out, I think there's money in there for 3 more. With this 2 more, I would like to see even more than that. I think we should be looking at continuing to fund these for as long as there's stuff in Henley to shout about and celebrate.
Yeah, right, okay then, so
That's when the
all
Henley
those
Foundation do some stuff like
all those in favour of 5.1? That's unanimous, okay, yes,
I can't say nothing because I haven't got the paperwork here to say it.
oh, it's at the back.
I thought you were around when they made it, Ian.
Have you seen it? It's at the back.
No comment.
No comment. Right,
Right,
okay,
yeah,
we
right.
vote that again.
Yeah, I'll back that
Right,
one.
okay. You'll get the Right, okay, 9. Oh, no, sorry, 3 works.
that. Got quite a lot left in that budget.
We need a lot in that budget.
Especially after the weekend.
You've got a new track, you've got a new.
Why, you've got even less trees to take care of. It's like-
This is-
You've actually got all this one.
Yeah, you've got way less
3
branches.
works, okay. Right,
It's all been done by this
so
storm.
the recommendation is that the town clerk be given delegated powers to approve the expenditure of over £5,000 from 2022-2023 tree works budget for tree works identified in the tree survey for various town council owned areas as they are received, subject to 3 quotes having been sought in.
She's dragging it out to win the bet.
Yeah, no,
Guaranteed,
oh,
'cause
no,
I would win if we did it now.
Right, okay, right, so all those in favour of 5.1? Yeah, that's it, and